Today I have some adorable tiered tray Christmas DIYs for you. Hi there, my name is Sandra and you're watching Christmas at the Schwowin's Nest. Thanks to all of my current viewers and subscribers. I wouldn't be where I am today without your support. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new to my channel, I'd love it if you could hit that red button too. For my first project, I'm going to be taking one of these artist panels that you can get at the Dollar Tree. You can also find these at Michael's in varying sizes, and I'm pretty sure that Walmart has some of them too. I'm using a walnut gel stain that I have diluted a little bit with some water. I'm going to go around the frame, on the inside of the frame, the outside of the frame, and the back. I'm just going to be putting the stain on, and then once I have it all applied, I'll just use a paper towel to wipe off the excess. I'm using some white acrylic paint and a small brush, and I'm going to just very carefully go around the edges of the frame and fill it in with the white paint. I will give this a couple of coats so it's nice and crisp. Today I am going to be working with the xTool cutting mats. The blue one is for vinyl and the pink one is for fabric. Today we're going to be working with some vinyl. Before I go any further, I would like to thank xTool for sponsoring today's video. The main difference between other cutting mats and the xTool cutting mats is that the sticky side is on the top where the grid is, and it's on the bottom, and I'll explain why in a few minutes. I'm peeling off the protective sheet and I'm going to just set that aside. I will need it afterwards to protect my sticky surface. Now I'm going to be just putting down a piece of red vinyl and white vinyl, and these are both the vinyls that came with the xTool package. I received a whole bunch of premium products and I'm just really excited to try these out. In the housing at the back of the machine where the laser is also the housing for the blade. This is magnetic, so as soon as you put it in there, it just sucks it up and holds it there for you. You simply take the protective cap off the blade and just put it right into the hole where the blade goes, and that's magnetic too. It just holds it right in place. Then you can put it back into the housing at the back of the machine. Now I'll remove the protective backing from the back of the cutting mat, and it will reveal a sticky side. And all I'm going to be doing is placing it inside and just following where those white lines are. That is the workspace of the machine. And once I press it down, I can just very gently just press it into place and it won't move while the machine is working. Now we'll move into the xTool Creative Space program to create the design. The first thing I'm going to do is just insert a rectangle. I need my design to be only 4 by 4 because that is the inside of the measurement of my sign that I'm going to be using. But for the purposes so you can see things a little bit better, I will make my square bigger for now. And once I have everything together, I'll be able to resize it. I'm going to move back over to the column on the left side and click on the text tool and then click onto my workspace. On the right hand side, you can see that there's all sorts of different text options that have come up. I'm going to be able to type in here what I want my words to say. I'll be able to change the font style and size, and I'll also be able to adjust the spacing and align it if I want it in the center. I'm going to make the word Kringle just a little bit larger. So this is just like any other program. You go to the corner arrows and drag it with your mouse to create a bigger space. Now I'm going to duplicate this word and then just pull it down to the bottom. I'm going to go back into my text box and put the words Candy Co. for Candy Company, and then I'll be able to change it if I want to with the different styles again. I added a couple of candy canes to the center. I found this file on Creative Fabrica. What I'm going to do now is turn my machine on, and you can see here that I have separated the candy cane from the little bits in the middle, and I've also created a larger candy cane. I'm going to be doing some layering with the vinyl, and I love how this machine takes a picture of the inside of the machine so you know exactly where to place your materials. I've got my vinyl placed exactly where I need it to be, and now I've pressed the start button, but this machine will not start moving anything until you close the lid. That's something that I found out, so you can't watch it. But it has a yellow lid simply because that is to protect your eyes from the laser, but you can definitely see that it is moving. Today, it's using the blade to cut the vinyl. I'm using my Dollar Tree weeding tool to take off the excess vinyl. With these larger pieces, I didn't have any issues with the vinyl not being cut all the way through. I was able to pull that excess vinyl off very easily. So I have a larger green candy cane pear, and now this will be a white candy cane pear. I'm just using some Dollar Tree clear contact paper, and that will do just fine for this small project. I am going to take my weeding tool and just pull off that little piece of clear contact paper, and I'm going to just kind of get some of the sticky off by just putting it on my mat a few times. When you're layering with vinyl, it's really not that difficult and it has a really beautiful look. I'm starting off with my green candy cane at the bottom, and now I've pulled off the white candy cane using the clear contact paper from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to be placing that right on top. And then I'm going to pull the contact paper off again. Now it's time to weed out the little candy cane pieces, and I did have a little bit of trouble with this. Some of the cuts didn't go all the way through, so I needed to use my weeding tool and just push them down so they would stay on the white backing instead of coming up with the rest of the excess vinyl. I'll do the same thing now by adding the clear adhesive sheet onto the red, pulling that off and placing it right on top of the white. I've got my letters weeded out as well. I didn't want you to have to sit through all of that. And it's all on my clear adhesive sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and get it nicely centered and then just stick it right onto my little plaque here. I think it looks absolutely adorable. I really like this design. And of course, as usual, I will have this available for you as a free printable on my website. The link to that will be down in my description box. I'm going to use my pencil to draw 3 lines on the sign. I'm not going to go over the vinyl. I'm going to stop and then pick my pencil up and then just put it on the backing. And this will create a cute little shiplap design. I'm going to add some little bits of greenery on either side of the candy canes and a couple of little pip berries. And then I'm also going to add the same greenery up at the top of the sign and then finish it off with a cute little jingle bell. I realized today that I haven't done anything with jingle bells this year for Christmas. So I'm thinking of a couple of things that we might have some fun with in my next video. xTool is having a Christmas sale up to 50% off their machines. You can also get financing for your machine if you'd like to. The sale ends on December 26th, so hurry on over to their website. I will have all of the links available for you down in my description box. I am super excited to be using the xTool M1. Stay tuned for later in the video, and I'll share with you why. In my first video using the xTool M1 machine, I showed you how you can cut out different shapes like these cute little mini cutting boards, and also how you can engrave. So what I did was I took one of these little cutting boards and I put it back into the machine and did a gingerbread recipe engraving on the front of it. I think it's absolutely adorable, and now I'm just going to decorate it. What I'm doing now is just taking some tiny little sprigs of frosted greenery. I think I picked up these little sprigs at Michael's. And then I'm going to add this little two-fingered red and white gingham bow. And I'm also going to add a little jingle bell. And in order for this to stand up, originally I thought I would take all four of those cut out gingerbread boards and glue them together so they would stand and be nice and thick, sort of like that little reindeer snow globe that I made in my previous video. But I decided not to do that because then I could make 3 or 4 little boards and use them for different styles of my tiered tray. So what I'm going to do instead is take a tumbling tower block from the Dollar Tree, glue that onto the back of this little board just a little higher than the bottom of the board, and it will just have a slight lean to the back. And it turned out super cute. You'll have to let me know what you think of this one. For this project, I'm going to be using all 4 of these wood truck cutouts. The 2 on the top have some laser engraving, but the 2 on the bottom are plain. I decided to glue these all together because I wanted this truck to be able to stand on its own. I am just using some wood glue because that is the best bond that these will get, and I wanted to make sure that it doesn't fall apart and that it doesn't have any gaps in between. I'm going to just press all the pieces together and wipe off any of the excess glue that pops out in between. And then I'm going to repeat the process, but I'm going to make sure that I don't glue the wrong pieces together. So the 2 trucks that have the engraving also have holes where the tires would be, or the inside of the tires would be. I guess those would be the hubcaps. I want to make sure that I use those on the outside and the 2 solid ones on the inside. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually add a couple of little clamps all around just to make sure that everything stays in place while the glue dries. Here I got a little bit of extra glue on the tires, so I'm just wiping that off. For painting, I'm going to use white for the hubcaps, black, of course, for the tires, and the truck is going to be red. I needed to have at least one little red truck for Christmas this year. While I'm painting this little truck, I thought I would share some really exciting news. I have decided to open up an Etsy shop. Now that I have the xTool M1, I want to be able to sell my little cutouts, the designs that I make for some of my projects here on YouTube. I'm also going to be selling some decals, so all of the free printables that are available on my website will now be available as decals in black and white on my Etsy shop. I'm also going to include some of my ready-made projects and some vintage collectibles whenever I come across something that I think someone might want to have. I hope you'll go down to my description box and click on the link to my Etsy shop. I've only got a few things listed right now, but I'll be adding more things every day. The last thing I'm going to do is add 3 different size bottle brush trees onto the back of the pickup truck, and this project is complete. For this project on my Etsy shop, I will be including the 3 little mini Christmas trees. This project was also super easy to do using the xTool machine. I used a piece of walnut and cut out quite a few of these little gingerbread men, and I'm going to be using the vinyl, again using the xTool blade cutting feature and their vinyl. And I've got the white decor on it, the little squiggles and the smiley face, but I'm using red for his little buttons. Now I'm just putting the red onto the vinyl for the white ones, and then I'll add an extra piece of vinyl and transfer everything all at once. I have a limited supply of these walnut gingerbread men. I believe I have 5 left, and you can order them with or without the decals. For my final project, I will be using some of this Christmas scrapbook paper. I got this in a huge paper pack from Michael's last year. I only just found it a few days ago and I thought, oh my gosh, I've missed out on using so much of this pretty paper. What I'm going to do is cover these candy cane shapes that again were cut out with the xTool. These will also be available on my Etsy shop, and again, you can get them with or without the scrapbook paper. For the sake of the length of this video, I am only going to cover one side of the candy canes, but it would look much better if you had both sides covered. I'm just going to be using a glue stick, glue them on, and then cut out the piece of paper and use my X-Acto knife to cut around the edges of each of the candy canes. I'm going to do 3 in the green plaid and 3 in the red stripe. I searched through my stash and I found one of these little wedding favor buckets from the Dollar Tree. You could use a little cup, you could use a little bowl, whatever suits your plan for a project like this. What I'm going to do next is just take some of the red and white twine that I have and glue 3 layers around the top edge of the bucket. This is just to make it a little bit more festive. Since galvanized metal really cools down hot glue quickly, I have it on a low setting and I'm just going to put little bits of glue on there and then hold it in place. Once I get around the first time, I'll be able to use this first layer of twine to continue gluing the rest of the twine layers on. In order to get the little candy canes to stand upright in the bucket, I'm adding little pieces of bamboo skewer that I just cut on an angle using my little snips there from the Dollar Tree, and then I'll be able to just poke them right into the styrofoam. You can arrange them any way you want to. I started off with the 2 larger ones and they're just facing the opposite direction. And then I just kind of threw the little ones in, making sure that they were kind of spaced evenly apart, and I think this little bucket turned out sweet, but I'm not done yet. I grabbed one of these little frosty sprigs and I'm going to be trimming it down into tiny little pieces, and then I'm going to be gluing them on the red and white twine, and I'm going to go all the way around the bucket. I'm going to start in the center at the front, work my way around to the back, and then start at the center in the front, put the branches in the opposite direction, and go all the way to the back. Now I'll just add a tiny little pine cone right into the center front and make a shoestring bow out of that red and white twine, and I'm going to glue that right on top of the pine cone. I wanted to add some of those little styrofoam mini snowballs that you can get from the Dollar Tree, but I needed to weigh it down a little bit first. So I thought I would just grab some of these Epsom salts and put those in first, and then I'll just take these tiny little snowballs and sprinkle them along the top to fill up the little bucket. I think this turned out super cute, and you'll have to let me know what you think of this one. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to check the xTool website to see if there's anything that will help you do your crafting or maybe start a little side business. And also, if you're interested, check out my Etsy shop. I'll be adding listings every day for the next few weeks, and I might even have some Christmas sales right after the holidays. Make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and click that notification bell. I've got more coming for you soon. Bye for now.